Tim, Monday, how are you?
Good. What's the big chuckle all about,
No,
dude? I mean,
because
there's a lot of things to laugh at.
because prior to hitting the record button,
Yeah.
you had the freak flag flying, and I want the people to sort of see what you got going on under that. The hair looks fantastic. So
first of all,
this is no product hair, by the way.
No, there's not a stretch of product. I got up this morning, combed it back, and the sad story is that I went in Friday night to Thursday night actually to get a haircut from Jaleesa, and she stood me up. So I'm shaggy, bro, and there's no product in. And so, the great thing about the baseball hat, much like in college, I would say 6 out of 7 days I was in a baseball hat. And I feel like probably 3 out of 7 days on a commercial break, I've been in a hat until I get my hair cut. On the show, I can product up. All right, here we go.
Wow, those are some great. That's some great
full
flow,
man. See all that?
You could be playing in the playoffs right now. I mean, that is that's a lot going on there.
That's my hockey hair. All right, I'm sorry I did that. I hope I didn't scandalize
don't be sorry.
anybody.
I saw something yesterday. Go ahead.
Well, I was just going to, by the way, I mean, love the Bearcat shirt. I mean, how many other teams have the same nickname as you guys?
No.
What do you guys, the Tigers? What do you guys, the Panthers?
This is the Croton Harmon alumni t-shirt.
The alumni not everybody gets one. You had to be a letterman in Croton.
We had an alumni basketball game that we used to play. It was like a weekend tournament. So I think we go like teams of 8. So you have at least you could roll a couple guys.
You guys dusted off the backdoor play, the pick and roll, maybe.
And it was some nasty shit too. Actually, we all knew each other. Basketball is one of those sports where I only play if I know the people I'm playing. I have no interest in playing against some weekend warrior dude that I don't know.
Point.
And
well, because then it can get really douchey.
Yeah.
I mean, it's one thing when you know where guys are intense, and if the guys you play, whether you want to press those buttons or just leave them alone.
Right. That's right.
Sometimes you don't want to unleash that. But basketball can be a game. It's kind of like driving, where suddenly you can have somebody turn in court rage into something that, like, dude, relax. Okay. Yeah. I don't know why this nerve was struck. But no, I wasn't trying to throw you down. But look, you come down the lane on me, man, and I'm not going to make this easy, right? So, how am I doing?
You're spot on. And thinking of not making things easy for him or herself.
Yeah,
okay.
Yeah.
So you mentioned it. So the Mets had a rough weekend. There's no other way to put it. They had a rough weekend.
Brutal. After this is the story of a Met fan too. You can't get too high because a 7-game winning streak quickly turned into a 3-game losing streak, and our first possible crisis of the season. Well, here we go. Crisis
in the form of injuries, which, as you know, no matter what sport you play,
everyone deals with injuries, man. Nobody wants to hear it.
What did you just say? Say that again, please, quickly.
I said nobody wants to hear about injuries because it's part of the game. And
nobody wants to hear about it. Okay, so Steve Cohen, the owner of the Mets, one of the wealthiest people, it should be savvy. It's a great word, savvy. I don't know if it's
well, hold on a second. I don't know what you're about to do to my fearless leader. But defining what he should or shouldn't be as an owner has been on the job of a baseball team for 9 months or less.
Okay. Anyway, I like what you did there. If you were the owner, given your 54 years of fandom, you're on the job training effectively. Right. Would you do the following? Would you tweet the following last night?
All right.
I'm going to read the tweet. Okay.
You're going to read the tweet. Yeah. Why wouldn't you? You obviously probably bookmarked it.
We are banged up here. It's going to be a tough stretch here. We will get through this. Keep the faith. Okay.
So everything he said is right. And it's nice to have a leader that's inspirational. It's nice to have an owner who clearly in some ways thinks like a fan and identifies with the fan base. I think that's part of the love that the Mets fan base has for Stevie Cohen because he's a fan first. You're spilling
a lot of shit here.
Would I have tweeted that? You know what? I might not have because it's just not necessary. But I like how he's trying to touch the people. And point out that it's difficult times. We had a tough weekend. Like I woke up today and God, I mean, what happened? Well, we were riding high, 7-game win streak. Now it's season on the brink. It's not that way. 7 games wasn't great. 3-game losing streak, not the end of the world. So I just wouldn't have tweeted it. I think you're making a mountain out of the molehill. But, that's the New York media for you, guy. So that's you. I mean, that's what you're doing. You're making a big deal out of it because you want to. It's not a big deal either way.
But you know what? I'm right because nobody gives a shit about, like, in this market, everybody knows. People go, I don't want to hear about it. If you want to say, listen, we got banged up. Everybody deals with injuries in sports. We're just going to deal with it better. We had a rough weekend. Things going to get started back in Atlanta tonight. That's okay.
But what makes
the tone of it is the tone. You know the difference. I know you know. You just don't want to get into it, which is fine. But him tweeting, we're banged up here. It's like, you know what? Give me an effing break. We're banged up. Everybody's banged up.
What's different about that than a CEO coming in and saying, you know what? We're running into input costs. There's some
doesn't make it right either
in the chain, and we've had a tough quarter, but our outlook is we're going to be okay. And actually, we're reaffirming it's going to be a good year, 2H 2020, 2021. That's all Stevie Cohen did. He reaffirmed the second half outlook.
Except that's all he did. He's speaking to a very specific group of people who, and the Yankee fans are the same way, by the way, that if the Yankees did it, you would be twerked that your owner's using the injury excuse. Like, I don't give a shit. Bring somebody else in to wear the uniform. And look, you know I'm right. You know I'm right.
Look, your previous owner under the boss, under Steinbrenner, he was more of a loose cannon than Elon Musk. So you can't tell me that the ownership group that sits in the Bronx at least doesn't have a history of saying whatever's on their mind. In the case of a CEO, a la an owner of a major league sports franchise, which, by the way, more valuable than many of the companies probably out there in the Fortune 500.
Think about that.
Look. What's different about that CEO of a Fortune 500 CEO coming out there and speaking to a very specific group of people, which happen to be his shareholders? All right, guys. So we're shareholders in the New York Mets. We love the team. We're invested in it as people. So sometimes getting a little bit of feedback from the C-suite. I might be one of those corporations right now that's not giving guidance into the murkiness of the COVID or the second half of the year, or in this case, the second half of the baseball season. But our CEO did that. And for that, I actually, you know what? I give him props for transparency.
Okay, I'd tell you what, if cash, or
he's not your owner. He's not your owner.
I was about to say,
GM.
Or any of the Steinbrenners,
all right,
come out and tweet something, I will be as equally appalled as I am now. But know and I know that we're a little banged up here. Oh, come on.
So look, it would be redundant for the Yanks to do that because
Cash, I love that.
Yeah, Cash. I like what you did that with Cash. I know you guys are on a first name basis with Cash, and the Yanks being injury prone is not a revelation to anybody. So why even bring it up? As far as I'm concerned, look,
Giancarlo on the list for 10 days. I just saw.
Of course he is, because it's a lower body injury, right? I mean,
I'm not sure.
And yeah, we all rose a couple times over the weekend, and the judge was in session. But you know what? The court's going to be adjourned soon enough for another DL stint there too. And I like the guy. I actually like your Aaron Judge. I think he's a high quality guy. So no animosity. Real quick on the markets. Are we back to where we were last week? I know
because we got an Audi 5000. Right, I'll tell you what's interesting quickly. What's interesting today is the S&P's down less than 0.5%. Dow's down 50 points as we're doing this. NASDAQ maybe down 100, which is benign. I think you would admit it's benign. But the VIX over the last couple of days, I mean, the VIX very quietly, but not benign. Back up above 21. It's going to be interesting to see how that closes. And, oh, by the way, gold getting off the mat for the first time in a while. That's what you have to watch. I think you're correct to point out, the dollar is probably, that 88 level in the Dixie, which we're not close to yet. But through 88 on the downside, you got to start to be concerned. So that's my market take real quick. Okay,
and 88 may be the number the Yanks have to get above in terms of wins this year. And I hope you guys get there. I'm not so sure. In terms of injury prone, I would say, again, I would look at these high multiple stocks and say there's more than a few strained ankles in a Peloton or in a Zoom. And frankly, for that crew, the outlook in the second half isn't so good. Guy, I'll see you tomorrow.